A few years ago, I made a mistake that ended up making me a landowner. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but my now wife and I were house hunting in the Austin, Texas area. She's a bit of a neat freak, but she said, I can deal with the house not being updated if the backyard is big enough. And the realtor said, oh, that's just the electric company's pole. They own that. And I thought to myself, wait a second, does that mean they own all this? And I jokingly said to the realtor, so if I buy this house, do I also get the backyard with all its amenities? So I called a local pool company to come out and give me a quote. If I had just taken the time to read the deed, none of this would have happened. If you want to hear more stories like mine, stay tuned. And they said, no problem, we'll be there in a few days. Well, the day they were supposed to come out, they called me and they said, hey, we're on our way. So I went out front to meet them. When they pulled up, there were 3 trucks there, and I thought to myself, wow, this is going to be awesome. Then they told me the bad news. They said, we've not be able to put in the pool that you want in your backyard. I said, why not? And they said, because you don't have the backyard space. I said, what do you mean? I have all this space. Then they pointed to the electric pole, and they said, you only have this much space. At that point, I knew I had made a mistake. I shouldn't have trusted that real estate agent. He laughed and said, yeah, you got it. And the backyard was not only big enough, it was huge. It was almost an acre inside the city limits. You could unbuild a house that big today, unless you had a couple acres out in the middle of nowhere. But then I started getting these weird looks from my neighbors. One day, I even saw one of my neighbors taking pictures of my backyard. And I thought to myself, what are they doing? What are they up to? Well, I found out what they were up to the hard way. We found this place that we really liked. It was a fixer-upper, but it was in a great location. The house had been built in 1962. So, it needed some updating. We were ecstatic. We couldn't wait to move in. Now, a few weeks after closing, I decided to get a survey done to see where the property lines were. And that's when I found out that I owned all the way up to this pole and no further, so the electric company owns everything from this pole to this pole. And the pictures of the house actually looked a lot better than the house did in person. But we could see past all that because we were in love with the lot and the location. Now, my wife is very particular about things like this. Now, when we were walking through the backyard, we noticed this weird pole in the corner of the yard. So we made an offer on the house and the seller accepted. Now, I wasn't too worried because I knew that easements happen and it's not a big deal. A few months later, I decided that I wanted to put in a pool, and here I am now, still living with the consequences of my actions.